Hi, this is Tawanda.
How you doing, Tawana? This is Mr. Sandman.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How you doing this evening?
I'm well, thank you. Where are you?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, you got a long distance number, so I'm confused.
You confused?
Yes, I'm thinking it's a bill collector. I wasn't gonna answer now.
Yeah, see, I get that all the time. I'll be like, go ahead. All they can do is, all you gotta do is hang up. They can't do that to you.
I
They
don't
can't do that to you.
listen. I wait on the voicemail. If it's a check, I call back.
Oh, you screening heavy. You screening heavy. You like, I don't know what that is. I don't know nobody in 305.
The devil is a liar. I don't need no insurance. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about your background.
How far back you want me to go?
I want you to go as far back as to what inspired you to get into music.
I come from a musical household. A household. I grew up in music, so it's like my dad's he's a bass player, and when I was young, I was watching them chase their dreams. He still plays, but he was doing his thing on a level back then where live bass was he was the man. You could say like Rick James, like you could say like without the fame, but he was really good. And my mom, she did some modeling. She was doing a modeling thing. Nothing on a major level. Just people chasing their dreams.
Right.
And so I grew up in that environment, and being around all of the hustle and bustle of people moving, and whether if I'm with my mom, she getting ready to go out and walk a runway, or I'm with my dad at rehearsal. And when I was there, I wasn't really learning to play music. My mom used to just want me to kind of like be quiet, so she put a pencil in my hand, and I used to draw a lot. So I put did a lot of time doing that, got really good at that, and later on I got a chance to get into music. I really didn't get a chance to learn anything from my pops as far as musically because him and my mom ended up separating. Mm-hmm. So after that, still growing up, bounced around a lot as a kid. But my entire family is originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, on both sides of the family, from my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family. But they just moved out west to Oklahoma and Texas.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of grew up all over and went overseas a little bit as a kid due to some relatives being in the Army or whatnot. And came back home. And so, when I got back, going to school, I was pursuing my artwork, and then my love for music just kept growing. I never stopped, thinking about music. So it was just like I used to DJ parties, get the music going. I was always into music, but I was never able to actually get a hold of an instrument or play anything. So I had other things to do, but I was always involved with something that had music to do with it, something to do with music anyway. So as I got older, I finally got a chance to start, running around, start rapping, and then which led me into finally being able to put my hands on some instruments. So when I did, I just went crazy with it. Finally made it. Left from out of Texas. Was getting in some trouble, so Mom sent me back here. She sent me to Charlotte. So I came to Charlotte in '98 and got into school, art school, and all types of other stuff, and linked up with a guy here that was running a record label by the name of Diggy Dye. The name of the record label was Liquor House Records. Mm-hmm. So when I got with them, that was when I really got a chance to have a studio to myself, because when we sat and talked and seen what I could do, and I saw what he was doing, we just put the two together because, I was real talented with the artwork. So he had the music and he had everything else, and I had something that could bring his brand to life.
Right.
If that makes sense to you. So, we ended up doing a production deal, ended up getting with him, and just filling out the label. So his music wasn't just a CD with his name wrote on it with a marker. He actually had graphics on the CD now. He had actual covers. He had posters. He was able to get all of the other stuff that you need to, to brand and market something.
He was legit.
So he finally had some visuals. Right, he finally had some visuals. So, me being the guy that I am, we got together. We both hustlers, so we got together and just started doing that. And from that, we had its ups and downs as any underground label to go, but we were the biggest here in Charlotte. There was some other guys here competing and stuff. We had Mark Sparks and all kinds of other people coming out of Charlotte that, they still don't really get the recognition that they should. Yeah, Sunshine Anderson do good. Yeah, a lot of people coming out of Charlotte, but for some reason the name didn't stick till a baby stamped it on the forehead. Right. Like Charlotte, we right here. But then it's a lot of music and stuff that comes out of Charlotte. So it was good to be a part of that. And after that, we went to Atlanta. We went through some troubles here in Charlotte, so we moved to Atlanta to just try to get a bigger buzz, to get everything going even more. So we were down in Atlanta. We opened up a record store with the studio in the back, right next to a barbershop. Mm-hmm. And a guy came in the studio one day, and just so happened to be, they asked him what his name was. It was Fabo.
Oh, wow.
So Fabo wasn't, they was still running around, but he wasn't who Fabo, how you know him today.
Right.
So he wasn't it wasn't, this was before Laffy Taffy, before any other stuff took off. So, we befriended each other, and we just got to work. So I got a lot of music with him that I haven't released, but he showed me all of Atlanta. We went around Atlanta. He is Atlanta. You know what I mean? He is Atlanta. So right. we're running all right. So we're running all over Atlanta. We in the Pool Palace. We everywhere. So it was just a good thing. And this was back when Atlanta was just really, really just swole. Like everybody wanted to be in Atlanta. This was in 2002, 2003. So, 05, that was when Lil Jon was jumping heavy, Usher, you had everybody just ludicrous. Everybody was just, it was just immense to how much, music and stuff was coming out of the city at that time. So went down there, we did our thing. We ended up separating, parting ways due to the fact, some business disagreements or whatever. But we ended up leaving Atlanta. Atlanta will break you if you don't have all your money together and everything else, and you can go through some times in Atlanta where you'll go broke. So
wow.
we was dead on our ass, and we decided to come back to Charlotte. I was like, we own equipment, man, so we can do music anywhere.
Right.
We can do music anywhere. Ain't nothing over. We just not here. We had some disagreements with the landlord, so we just let him have his property back and just took all our stuff out. So we came back to Charlotte, but I was dead broke. So when I came back to Charlotte, I had gotten married, had a newborn. I sent my wife and my son out to Texas, and I just told her, I was like, look, I gotta hit the street, and I don't want you anywhere around. Y'all go out to Texas. So I sent them out there, and I just got on my grind. And grind. Built everything back up. Built myself back together. And, as street tales go, one thing leads to another, and I ended up catching a charge. And it took me off the street at a prime time where we was promoting and doing so well with everything, as far as we had TJ's DJs, we doing Ozone tour, we doing Almost Famous, we're going state to state, we're circulating.
Right.
We're circulating. And it was just total, it was,
was it with
it was just the timing of everything.
A record
label? It wasn't with the record, it wasn't with the record label. I called the charge on my own because I was in the street.
No, I mean, when you say it was prime time and you were traveling, so was that with the record?
That was all with the records. Yeah, that was with the music. All of that was with the music. The traveling, the touring, all that stuff was with the music. But all of this is coming out of pocket. So, we're out promoting. We're on a promotional tour. So we're independent. We're not signed to a label. So if you have to pay for everything out of your pocket when you're independent, everything, there's no, hey, can you give me some, can you get another $10,000 allocated to my project?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So you got to get everything out. You got to grind for it. You got to get what it is that you're going to get. Whatever money that you have is the money you're going to spend in the music game, because we all know this is expensive.
Yeah.
So we're out trying we're trying to promote, we're promoting, and, you know, we're getting the buzz going, and I just got snatched off the street.
Dang.
And it was terrible. So I watched everybody that we were on tour with. I'm sitting in the county jail looking at people that we were on the tour with, Almost Famous tour. Shouts out to Ravella Versus Entertainment for that. She had some big stuff going on back then. On that tour, B.O.B. was on that tour. Yellow Wolf was on that tour. Jackie Chain was on that tour. It was a lot of artists that went on to the next class that went on to do big things. The following year that was going on, I was just sitting there like, wow.
Right.
It was just right. So I'm just sitting there. Right. I mean, I'm sitting in jail looking at the Grammys, and B.O.B. is doing his song with Janelle Monáe.
Right.
I'm like, wow, like, man. So I had to go through all that. Nevertheless, I ended up having to do, I got sentenced to 8 years and 10 months on the first offense charge. So I had to go sit down. I had gotten released early after 6.5 years, so I came home in 2015 and just started from scratch. Reconnected with the guy I was doing music with earlier, only to have him get killed 6 months after I came home.
What?
So like that was like my best friend. He got killed in a robbery.
Oh.
So in the midst of going through all that, I'm still grinding and rebuilding and you know, just got to do what I need to do, because the whole thing is I came back to Charlotte to do music. That's what I came here to do. I didn't come home to sell dope or, you know, do this or be the raw. I came home to do music. Right. That's what I do. I do music. I do art. You know, I make stuff. I'm good with my hands. That's what I do. But, you know, there's all types of sides of different people that, you know, sometimes you can be that dude if you got to be that dude. If you got to be that woman, you're going to be that woman. You right. Nice and mild-mannered, but when it's time to crack somebody across the head, you be able to somebody across the head. Yeah, so, you know, some people will go 0 to 100 real quick. So, you know, you know, everything, but, you know, looking back on it all, everything was, you know, could have been, some things could have been done different, but I can always say that I only did things that I felt that was out of necessity.
Right.
So, you know, but sitting down, actually being in prison, you know, I was kind of at peace. It's not like
when you say
when I say
prison, you was kind of at peace. Like you didn't have to worry. In what way?
I didn't have to. It was like, all right, I can deal with any situation I get thrown in, and I know my people out. You know, my wife and my son, they're taken care of, and they're gonna be okay. But I just mean me as far as, you know, in the inside, when you have so much going on and you're doing so much, because a lot of people don't talk about, you know, everybody talks about, you know, getting money out the dope game or doing this or doing that, but they don't understand. A lot of times people be so caught up in it, and people from the outside get so fascinated with the money, but they don't really understand what we go through, like what we see and what we deal with on a daily basis. Like that can kind of have a toll on you. Even though you stand your ground, you do everything else. It's just the energy that you're around. You know what I mean? Yeah. It can be paranoid. You can be paranoid sometimes. You don't know what's going on. You got to really look at your environment and see what's going on, because your life is on the line.
Right.
And a lot of people don't really look at that. I'm like, do you know? You know, I had argument with some people one time. I was like, this isn't normal. Like, it's not normal. I'm like, money, all that, that's fine. I was like, but this isn't normal. You know, the average American family doesn't have $10,000 in the shoebox just sitting there not getting used. Right? They barely have $500. They really can't make it to the next day. But it's, you know, it's money just everywhere. So it's not normal. And I feel like when people start disrespecting the aspect of what you're doing, like if you become comfortable,
right, something
happens. And, you know, something happens. And the night that I caught my charge, I got comfortable because I was doing something that I told myself I don't do. And I did something, and I let myself get put in an unnecessary position by a patrol officer that just made a random stop.
Wow. So
that was, you know, so if you got rules for yourself, live by your rules, and don't stay in there too long, because like I told my homeboy, before he got killed, before I even went to prison, I told him, I said, hey, man, you know, nothing good comes out of this. The only thing comes out of this is death or jail. So we got to hurry up and do what we're going to do and wrap it up and just leave this alone. We got to, you know, got to move on to something better.
Right.
And, you know, a little bit after that, I got to jail, and he got put in the ground. I can't bring my homeboy back, but this is like, you know, damn. It's just real like that. Life's real out here.
What is one of the biggest lessons you learned from that?
As far as what lessons from what being in the street or from my home from my friend dying or
the overall lesson, because one, it was a domino effect. You know,
right.
Like you got taken off the streets. Like if one thing wouldn't have happened, where would you be today? Where would he be today? You know what I'm saying? So there was time missing before you linked back up with him before he died, right? Because you went to prison. So, like, what is correct? What is one of the biggest lessons you learned just being in the streets? Period.
There's different ways to go about doing things. Mm-hmm. Being that I was out in the street so much, I kind of look at it different than the average person would, because I learned different things, and you'd be surprised who we deal with in the street, who we deal with in the street. You know, people think it's just the bum on the corner or something like that. No, we dealing with lawyers, doctors, the paramedics. You'd be surprised who's around here getting high. I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know. There's no telling who's getting high. You understand what I'm saying? But it's just learning a lot, talking to people and talking and almost like networking, except you're on the street, but meeting people in there. You're meeting people that are doing something they either do recreational or they have a severe addiction to, but they're still people at the end of the day. And people talk, and you learn different things from them. So it's just what I think I learned out of the entire situation is that, you know, if you have rules set for yourself, follow those rules. And number one is try to find a way before you go to the street. That needs to be the last resort.
Right.
Like, I don't recommend anybody do that. I was just like, you know, but some people at their last resort. Yeah. Some people at their last resort. And a lot of kids don't really understand that. You come from a two-parent family home from the suburbs. You don't need to be out selling no dope.
Right. That's right.
You know, people that are out here that are hustling, you don't know where they came from, you know, but 9 times out of 10, they had it really, really bad, and that's all they do. Some people don't do anything else. I was in the federal prison, so I met people from all over the world. So it's just like, you know, some people, that's all they do. Some people, they born into that. Some people, that's all that they, you know, that's all they know. No pun intended for the single.
Right.
But some people, that's all they know. So, you know, I got a lot of different aspects and different mind states that I've encountered and came in touch with and been able to experience that, you know, give me a little different outlook on stuff. But I would just say that, you know, what I learned out of it is that God's grace, you got to follow the plan. You got to follow the plan. So you don't know what the plan is, put your faith in God, put your best foot forward, and if it comes down to it and all else fails and there's nothing else left, hey, there's no telling what a man will do. I've seen it all.
Right. Well, that's true. Out of desperation, survival kicks in, fight or flight. So
we're watching it right now on TV, live in your face.
Yeah.
They want the economy open back so bad they're willing to risk your life for it. So hey. You know, it's just like, hey, look at what's going on around you. Right now, Donald Trump is the first street guy that I've ever seen in the White House. Right.
First street.
The people he's a con man. He's a hustler. He's a street hustler. He's a white street hustler. He's the biggest gangster right now on the planet. But he's dumb. He is so dumb. But he thinks he's so smart. So it's funny to watch. It's just funny to watch. I sit here and watch him on the what do they have? The task force, the COVID-19 task force meetings and rallies that he does time at 5 o'clock, and I just sit there and shake my head. I said, I was in the wrong business, baby. I should have went into politics.
No, he's a fool. Like the stuff that come out of that man now, this is like what did he say? People gonna die and that's okay? Did he was that like I'm paraphrasing, but did you just say that? Like, but
I totally agree with you. I've seen him say some of the craziest stuff. I was just like, and he's getting away with it.
He get away with it. Well, rednecks love him. That's why rednecks love him. So, that's just touching on the part of racism that's acceptable. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You straddle the fence just enough to where it's not so much insult. I'm not going to call this person a nigger, but I'm going to call him stupid. You get what I'm saying? So that's acceptable. Right. So, it's just like him saying that the COVID-19 was a Chinese virus. No, that's not a like the strand that's even in the U.S. is not the same strand that was in China. So it's just like he gets away with the most idiotic stuff that I've ever seen in my life. But he gangster. So it's just
what you gonna do? So I just tell people to go out and vote because since I came home, I've been, like I said, all I've known is just getting everything back that I missed. Mm-hmm. I can't get the time back, but, I bust my ass when I came home. When I came home, I had to sit in the halfway house. They were like, you got to get a job. So, I know mechanics. So I went back to my old spot and, got a job right quick because I know they're always hiring because people quit. So, I worked 2 jobs as a mechanic. I worked from 7 to 4, and then I went and worked on post office trucks from 6 to 1 in the morning. So I was getting like 5 hours of sleep, doing everything that I could to pull my family out of where they ended up while I was gone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I go to sleep at night, and my hands balled up because my hands are cramping. So they balled up in my chest. Oh. They just balled up in the fist because I've been working so hard.
Oh,
but
wow!
It's like it hasn't stopped. So we moved, new house. Cars back, everything's coming back, and hey, it doesn't matter whether I'm in the street or not doing anything street. I still know how to get money. So invest in stock market. I was into these types of things before I left though, but I really didn't get a chance to implement a lot of stuff because I got took off of the street early. I got to vote for Obama, but I didn't get to enjoy any of the things that he was doing. And a lot of people, no matter how you feel about him, I always say this one thing. He told everybody to go get some stock. He told them to go buy some Citigroup. It's $1. And I've never heard a president give a stock tip. So money was sitting around. I had to watch this stock go from $1, and I begged family. And, when I talk on the segment that I have on the radio, I talk about stuff like this. I use myself for an example. Like, we have to start listening to what's going on. If you want to participate and get what we're going to get out of this country, you got to pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
You got to pay attention to what's going on. The president just gave a stock tip. A black president just told you to go buy something. When has the president ever told anybody to go buy a stock?
Right.
Never. No. It went from $1. I was locked up in the county jail before I got sent to prison for 22 months. In those 22 months, it went from $1 to $50. Because he said he wasn't going to let the banks fail. So you guys just keep an eye out for details and stuff like that. But now that I'm back home, that's what I've been dealing with. Forex. Got with some young people out here that's trading and like to do things I like to do, and we're making money.
Right.
So
how long?
Yeah. So it's plenty.
How long have you been out of prison?
I've been out of prison for 5 years.
5 years, okay. And then when you got out, you got right back into the music. How did you? How did you do that?
Well, I bought equipment. That's what I buy. I buy equipment. So I already have my own studio.
Okay.
I invest in equipment. I'm the type of artist I can do everything. Like I ran a label, so over this time, we acquired machines to print and press CDs that look like they're coming out of the stores, put the barcode on the packaging, and ship it out.
Right.
We were selling, we were one of CD Baby's highest sellers. We were selling CDs by the hundreds. When record stores were actually out, they go get a hundred case of my records through CD Baby. I get a check cut back to me, and we just press up some more and send them off.
Okay.
So I've always been in it's business. Like I want art. I'm not just a regular artist. I want artists to understand. Like you really have to understand this business. I never went and never gone and had a major label deal or anything like that. I haven't even walked myself into a major label office and asked for a deal. To this day, I haven't walked in a major label office and asked for a record deal. Like, here go my demo. It's like, no, I do music, and I want us to understand, like, this is the hustle, this is the grind. Like, if you don't understand that we make this, they don't make this music. We make it. But the executives don't make the music unless they have an artist for an executive. But the rich white people don't make the music. Leo Cohen, ask him what his new single is. You know, one. He's selling us. He's selling us stuff. So we make this music, we do it, and I feel like we should have control from the back to the front. Would I do a deal with a record label? Yeah, but I understand what I'm getting into. Right. A lot of artists these days don't understand what they're getting into, and when the game goes sour, so they ask to them, they always say the same thing. I wish I'd been on my business more.
Right.
I wish I listen to Jadakiss. Jadakiss is on the internet telling everybody, learn the business. Like, you got to learn the business. So if I have my product and I can, back then, well, which really wasn't too long ago, but they still do it now, CDs are so much cheaper. Even though they say nobody listens to CDs anymore, I was like, there's people that still listen to CDs in their car because they sound better. Especially if you got an older car, and a lot of people that I know, they don't have a 2020 car. If they do, they're not riding around with CDs in it anyway. So they just hook everything up through their phone. But for those people that still drive Chevys and box Chevys in the hood and Impalas and everybody else, they don't have. They got to put a CD player in there. Right. So they putting their stuff in there and whatnot. But it's just like, you know, if I can buy CDs, I call to China. This is the literal truth that I'm about to tell you. Call to China. And I got somebody on the phone and asked them how much 150,000 CDs would cost. And I got the price down to 3 cents.
Wow. That's cheap.
Now exactly. Now I'm the artist and I run a label. So I need my music done now. I want these 150,000 CDs, right? Now this is where, you know, being aware of what's going on around you and politics and everything else, this is where this comes into play because I'm a business and I'm doing overseas trading with China. It's considered a trade if I buy something from over there in bulk like that. Right. So I get tax breaks and benefits for bringing my CDs over here, and now I got my CDs for 10 cents. So if you do the math on the 150,000 multiplied by 0.010 cents, you get how much the CDs cost. So $10,000. Well, no, I'm sorry, it's $15,000 for the 150,000 CDs. So you get that, and you do the math on you selling your CDs at $7. Do the math on that. So right. You know, it took a second for my business partner to understand because he was like, man, I don't want to print up 150,000 copies of the same CD. I was like, dude, they blank. We can make whatever we want. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the same project. We just trying to sell 150,000 CDs.
Artists still record on CDs. Most indie artists I know still record on CDs.
Yeah, I'll make a burn copy. You know, I'll print up some copies or whatnot to give out. But right now, like I tell a lot of artists that I run into, like I'll be like, save your hard copies. Just don't give them away. Right. Because they're worth more now than they were back then. And you don't want somebody to take a CD and just throw it on the ground. Right. It has to be if you have a listening party and the people that come to the listening party, give them a CD because it's more intimate and they know you now. You know what I mean? Right. People that are on the street, they can get a flyer or scan a little barcode. and then, and look you up on the internet, that's cool. That's a good way to do it. But now I wouldn't give people a CD unless you actually came and enjoyed the show and sat down and, got to talk, ask questions, or however you want to, would do a listening party or whatever.
Right.
So,
okay.
But being back after these 5 years, it took a second because I wanted to make new music. I gathered some more equipment, gathered the equipment that I did have, put everything back together, and it's just like I had to learn what they were doing because when I left the street, the iPhone just came out 2 years before. It came out in 2007. I left the street in 2009. So it was like Instagram wasn't where it's at right now. Facebook, it was doing stuff, but it wasn't where it is right now. Social media hadn't been built like it is right now.
Right. Popular.
So for me to come home and see how everybody was working it and using it, I was like, oh, okay. I could see that anyway when I wasn't locked up because we had phones, phones all over prison anyway, but you could see what was going on. But it was just like, oh, that's what they doing? Oh, man. So, to come home and see how everything was really working and to, actually see how it worked with my products and whatnot, I was like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what it is. I just studied the business model a little bit, and then I started putting out music. So once I got that under wraps, it's cool. I like the business of it all.
Yeah, I think I have the dope title for your write-up. I think you'll like it, just by listening to you. So, when you say the business of it all, what all do you do besides the music?
Well, I have my hands in a lot of stuff. Another thing that I came up with while I was locked up, I came up with my fashion line. I had actual time to sit down and come out with my fashion line, and I had worked my way down so low in the prison system. I got sent to a camp. Mm-hmm. So at the camp, they had a room where you can go in and make stuff out of leather. So I designed my duffel bag set. I have purses, all kinds of stuff that I came up with to go along with my fashion line. So I put the icing on the cake on my fashion line. I did multiple bags that, every time somebody sees my bag, the bags I have, they go crazy. So they're like, where'd you get that? What'd you do? How'd you do that? Because the bags are hand carved. Right. And they're hand stitched together and everything else. So it's all handmade. So I'm just like, we talk about that. It's a talk piece. So I have my hands in fashion. Started doing real estate. Got my people in the real estate. We power couple up on that. So she's out doing her stuff, and we sit back and politic on what's what and what's going to cost this or cost that. So real estate. We just got this trucking company started. We're trying to get into the trucking right now, and we're pushing it real heavy because of what's going on with the COVID-19.
Right.
We can just drive. I have people that got put out of work. I can just put them to work. I'm like, hey, you can drive, right? You don't have to have a CDL. So we sit back and get everything together because you don't have to have a CDL to drive vans. Oh, you know what I mean? You don't have to have a CDL to drive box truck. You have to have a CDL to drive anything that has over 2 axles. Wow. So, yeah, you go ahead on and do what it is you do. So we're going to do that and get some loads on the road with the trucking company. And I got a car lot that I'm waiting to open up.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Okay.
Yeah, so we got always, like I say, like the single. When I tell you all I know is hustle, all I know is grind, that's all we do. And we have fun with it. Like, there's ways to get money. There's a reason that we behind, and it's not because we lack hustle and grind. It's just because we grinding and hustling on the wrong thing. Right.
Agreed. So tell me about your newest single. So what, just your life influenced that single?
I put it in there, and the stuff that's around that was going on long before I even came to the planet. Just when I say I had a line in there about somebody getting killed by the police, that I had to put some social commentary in there with the hook. So I'm letting you know all I know is hustle, all I know is grind, buy low, sell high, watch the money pile, know the streets wild, crooked cops on the rampage. Yellow tape another nigga on the front page. So, the hook says it all.
Right. Okay. All
So
right.
I put something in there. Just let people know. Everybody dancing and doing their thing, but I'm putting a little kick in there for them and making up for the time that I lost, because we should have been gone a long time ago. And maybe if we'd have got gone a long time ago, my homie wouldn't be in the ground right now.
Well,
So,
you know what? You are where you are, and you are in your divine appointed path right now.
yeah.
So, what do you want to?
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah. What do you want to be known for?
What do I want to be known for?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big question. I want to be known as somebody that inspires people to reach their full potential.
Okay.
Watching me move and watching me work and do everything else, I want to be able to inspire other people to be like, this is how it works. Y'all been over there doing it wrong. I really want some people to say that, like, you really turned me on to something. You know what I mean? Sandman turned me on to something.
Right.
He turned me on to something. He got asleep. He kind of woke me up a little bit. I wasn't looking like that. We weren't thinking like that. I want to change the thinking process a little bit. We're not going to stray too far from what we know, but at the same time, I just want us to be able to apply it to something else and watch what happens.
Okay, all right. So, who else, or I know who you work with, as far as music goes, Fabo, correct? And a slew of others.
Well, I reconnected with Fabo. I talked to him. Actually, it was funny how we ended up reconnecting, because I'm at Power 104.4 as a host,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up having him as a call-in guest. We ended up having him in as a call-in guest. He didn't know I was working at the radio station, and I didn't know he was calling. And she's like, you guys got Fabo coming in. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was fun reconnecting with him. I haven't worked with him since before Elastic Happy Drop. That was the last time, I had seen Fabo. They got busy and they got gone, and I was doing my thing, and we got gone.
Right.
So, but it's funny how everything, the universe does. It brings you full circle.
Right.
So it was cool. It was cool to reconnect with him and talk to him and stuff. So we had some good laughs and some good times. I see it. I think I'll be seeing him in the future, no doubt.
Well, who else would you like to work with or share the stage with?
Well, let's see. I got a chance before I left the street. I got a chance to work with MJG, work with Yo Gotti when he was on Cocaine Music Volume 1. Work with Skinny Pimp out of Tennessee. But some people that I would want to work with right now at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be cool to do something with Kendrick.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, just on the style switching, because I like how he switch up his style, and I like that. That's the thing. That's something that I like about Kendrick. And his storytelling, the way he does stuff. It's so many artists. All I can say is I can't have that's the one that sticks out in my mind. But all of the legends, like the people that were rapping in the '90s, I want to work with them. like seriously, I want to work with a Method Man, a Red Man, you know what I mean, a Mary J. Blige, and this or that, because everything that's going on right now is cool. I see a lot of talented people, but at the same time, you always want to work with people that you looked up to.
Right.
You know
want to
what I mean?
work with the legends.
Right. I didn't grow up looking up to Gucci Man. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We were on the same grind. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I wouldn't mind working with him. That'd be dope. We do some good stuff, but you can understand what I'm saying. Like, man, I want to work with, man, we can make, like, yeah. That's what I would want for myself. That's a fantasy. But I'm cool working with any new artist or any new underground artist that's coming out. I'm willing to work with anybody. If you're willing to work and you're ready to make dope music, I'm ready to work with you. A lot of people hate on the kids, and when I say kids, I'm talking about people that's 17 and 16. So, but they doing their stuff. You can't be mad at them. What are you mad at them for?
Right. Well, they're gonna do their thing, so it is what it is.
They're gonna do their thing. But
Right.
you know what? I think I figured it out though. I think I figured it out. I don't think it's so much as the older people being mad at the younger people, because I think it's more the younger people misunderstanding where the older people are coming from.
Right.
Because the younger people, it's a hip hop world now. It wasn't a hip hop world back then. So when they doing what they're doing now, they don't understand. Like, you know, everybody that came before them paved the way, and not saying that they stopping, but like hip hop basically took over the world right now. You don't have to fight to get into a sponsorship for a cereal commercial.
Right.
Fred Flintstone, you know, seeing Fred Flintstone run around rapping Fruity Pebbles, that's a common day occurrence now.
Right.
When it first happened, that was groundbreaking. So I think that's where the disconnect come in, just because some older people don't think that the younger people respect where they at right now.
Right.
Kind of like how the civil rights movement kind of stuff is. But at the same time, we do understand where we at right now. We just want to take it further, right?
Right.
So that's how you got to look. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. We know y'all paved the way, but now it's time to go further. And we got to break away from what you used to. We got to evolve this thing. So I'm with it. I'm with it.
Well, we
to a certain extent now. To a certain extent, because they putting out some wild music right now. So it's wild. It's a wild artist.
You be thinking they saying something until you really listen, and it's like, what kind of sense did that make? I can't even go with that. So
you know what I do? You know what I do to new music? I take it, and any new project that comes out, it doesn't matter who it is. I'll put them on my iPhone, and I won't hook the iPhone up to a big speaker or anything. I just listen to it off of the iPhone. Just sit your iPhone on the table and listen to it. You won't hear any subs. You won't hear any of that. All you hear is what they're saying. And I listen to what it is that they're saying before I let the beat play all big and, you know, do all of the bass and everything. No, I want to listen to exactly what it is that you're saying. And once I can hear what you're saying, I can judge the music off of that then I'll put it on a speaker or something after I listen to it like that.
Right. Well, you have to, because you be on drugs and strung out somewhere, and that's what people thinking, because that's what you're singing, and you don't even know what the heck you're singing. So that's.
Hey, and listen to it sober. Listen to it sober. Don't listen to it when you got some drink in your hand. Listen to it sober.
Facts.
Listen to it sober. Listen to it sober. Because if you can listen to it sober and jam to it, you really gonna rock out to it when you listen. You really,
right.
when you turn up, you really gonna rock out to it then. So, yeah.
What would you like to see more of from indie artists?
I like to see more unity.
Okay.
I like them to understand the power that they have. We wield it around, but everybody can't do this. Hey, everybody can't do this. The best analogy that I can use would be Star Wars. The Last Jedi. He was the last one for, you know, imagine how many it was before him, and how many of them might have took it for granted.
Right.
Now it's down to the last one, so now he's, you know, now he's respected. He's feared. You understand what I mean?
Right.
He's feared, so, you know, but I look at things with the rappers, like, everybody doesn't do this. They can mimic it, but they don't, you know, everybody can't do this. Everybody can't do this like that. Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't do it. And I'm glad it's worldwide, and I'm glad it's all over the world and everything. Not saying that people from other cultures can't rap, because they taking the same thing that we're doing and making something from nothing, and I salute that, but nobody do it like us. And they'll tell you, nobody do it like them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? If they can't tell you that nobody do it like us, they fooling themselves.
And then my absolute last question. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do you want our readers to follow you?
Follow me at Mr. That's MISTER _, Sandman. That's SANDMAN. The number 2, real.
Okay. And I guess my next question, I'm sorry, I lied. Just one more. So, you told me about everything that you're working on. Do you have any more projects that's out there that people should be on the lookout for?
Right now, all I know is the lead-off single.
Okay.
I have some follow-up projects coming up. Get the Bag is going to be the next single, and the single after that is going to be Night Rider.
Night Rider. Okay. All right. What was his name?
Yeah.
Michael?
Michael Knight.
That's how old I am.
Just a play off of that.
Okay. Okay.
So it's gonna be dope. I got some good things going. I got some good directors and that I'm working with. You know, when I first came back to Charlotte, I was going to school as well. I did mention that I was going to school at the Art Institute while everything else was going on as well. So I was doing all that. That was one of the reasons I moved to Atlanta. You know, because I could move my school stuff.
Right.
And learned that they scam at the schools too. Like it's like sitting back looking at the system and everybody's kind of fed up with it.
Right.
Imagine being 10 credits short of getting ready to graduate. So, but you're getting ready to move state. So you're going to the same type of school. You're going to the same school. It's the same brand, just in a different state.
Right.
And that school will only take half of your credits.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you basically be going to school. I would have basically went to school 4 years for a 2-year degree.
The devil is a liar.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to leave.
No.
Like we need to be able to see these hustles, and that's one thing that I would teach, you know, as well. Like recognize these hustles and how to work around them, because these people, they have all this money because they hustle, and they hustle the best right now.
Right.
They hustle is the best right now. But, you know, we have to get about ours, and we'll get back.
Right.
We'll be back.
That's right. And you still are where you are regardless. So, you know.
That's right.
You got know-how and you are where you are, so it made you sufficient because you learned new things even still. And you're utilizing those things. So it wasn't in vain.
No, it wasn't in vain. Like I said, even in prison, I wasn't handcrafting bags. You know, I wasn't handcrafting bags. I'm picking out leather. You know, the bags are full leather, not the faux leather, real leather. The inside is suede. Mm-hmm. I give you a purse you can put a baby in. That baby go to sleep. It's so soft on the inside. All the ladies like it. So just, you know, the brands and everything else will come out. Oh, you can reach me here too at Hustlers Fraternity.
Hustlers Fraternity
on Instagram.
Okay. And these bags, are they travel bags or just your regular?
They're duffel bags, backpacks, purses, clutches, messenger bags, anything that you want. On the Hustlers Fraternity site, that's the fashion. That's where you'll see the fashion at.
Okay.
You see me holding up a bag. You see me holding up a bag that says Hustlers. It's Hustlers with an S, not a Z. Hustlers with an S, Fraternity.
It's spelled the way it's supposed to be spelled.
It's spelled the way it's supposed to be spelled. Come on now. So we hustlers. We're not stupid.
So I said, no. We speak into existence.
What Ice Cube say on Boys in the Hood? I can't read. I ain't dumb.
Right.
I can't read, bitch.
Right. Like, no.
You reading in there. I ain't no criminal. I can't read, bitch.
I'm getting it tight. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And thank you so much. I learned a lot from you.
No problem.
Definitely starting from the bottom and making it to the top. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for helping me out and taking the interview and taking your time out to call me.
Absolutely.
Well, let me call in and spend some time with you, and gnaw your ear off for a minute.
No, it's all right. I got the content, didn't I?
Okay. Yeah, you got some content.
Thank you.
No problem. If you need anything, you know how to get in touch with me. Just reach out to Angie.
On this bill collector line. Oh, no, you said
on the Angela on the bill collector line.
No, Angela laced me with photos and everything. So I am going to do a little snippet of our interview because that's kind of just what I do to let people know what's to come. So I think I got some good photos that she sent me. So she did great with that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.